This is your November 2024 soul story. If you have a sun, rising or moon in the sign, this is your reading for the month ahead. It's Romy here. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in and join me. We're opening up this month with the energy of death, and we begin November with a new moon in Scorpio. And as your 6th house gets illuminated, you know, not everything is worth your energy. And I think you're realizing that to get where you want to be and to initiate something new, something that's overdue, that's needed, I think, to kind of help you in your life at this time, there has to be a release point. You know, you just simply can't spread yourself thin enough to manage it all. And as you realize that not everything is worth your energy, it's a time to get organized, because there's truly a deeper transformative experience that you're going through right now. The second your ruling planet, Mercury, is moving into Sagittarius, and this affords you the ability to be direct and upfront in terms of what it is that you need and what you expect. And I think from at times someone who, you know, can overthink, can overgive, can overfeel, can overlove, you know, this is important. I think November is very much about boundaries for you. And overall, I think the theme for this month ahead is perspective. Okay, so you're going to be absolutely wanting to reframe things for yourself, change the way that you look at them. And, you know, I think when you choose yourself, Gemini, you know, things around you begin to mirror this, and you start to see that people and things are consciously showing up in a way that feels like it's more intentional. And, you know, that matters. So the third sees Juno, asteroid goddess, shifting into Scorpio. And here she's forging unbreakable bonds. And in a month where Scorpio season has us zoning right into the details, and then Sagittarius energy allows us to make sense of those details in the bigger picture, you have a lot of conversations underway. You know, there are a lot of people and relationships in your life that are under review. And as you evaluate more about what it's going to take at this period in your life to bring about those adjustments and changes that are needed, I think you're definitely in the process of forming some new alliances and realizing where those unbreakable bonds are going to really matter moving forward. We've got the Son of Staffs, the Knight of Wands. Now the third, Mars in Leo, which is now in shadow for its upcoming retrograde next month, is opposing Pluto, and we also have Venus opposing Jupiter. So there's some tension and some friction, and the energy just feels like it's getting whipped up there. Yeah, you can see the knight kind of moving around the candle here. But we also have a butterfly, and let me tell you just that, you know, today out on a walk, I actually came across a butterfly, really unusual at this time of year in Scotland. And you know, it reminded me of the analogy of when we see a butterfly, you know, it's a beautiful experience, right? We can look at it and appreciate its beauty, and we can continue on our walk. But when a butterfly lands on us, it changes the experience. It becomes something more meaningful, and it holds a different value, and it makes us stop and reflect and consider in a different way. And that was my experience this morning, and what was an unusual time of the year. And, you know, in that Gemini energy, you really are that beautiful butterfly, and it just feels that you're seeking the meaning, and there's something about what November delivers for you by way of the signs that are deeply personal. It's like you could notice something and say, oh, that's nice, you know, I appreciate that. But there's something about how it shows up, when it shows up, that becomes deeply personal and in a way validates something for you. That's what I'm feeling into for this month ahead. We, of course, are going to be celebrating the 1111 portal. And that Knight of Wands, you know, as something ends, something is also going to the next level is what I want to say, right? And the 1111 portal reminds us that, you know, how we manifest, the way that we choose to align with our heart's desire and what we're prepared to do to help hold a space for those things to show up is again being brought under the spotlight for you. The 1111 portal also sees Venus shifting into Capricorn, and you know, this energy does bring about a very deliberate focus. You know, your goals matter, and the value of things, particularly, you know, in terms of wanting something that feels sustainable, wanting that's, you know, something that's going to be a foundation that you can build upon, also feels like it's really strong around that time of the month. The sun is coming through here. You know, this fire energy really serves you. It kind of sparks with your air and it ignites something within you. And I feel when we look at how the energy, when it's focused in the right way, and remember, sixth house is a lot to do with your day-to-day rituals. So it's about, you know, when I get organized and when I know what I'm focused upon and when I'm really clear. And by the way, knowing that it doesn't have to make sense to anyone else but you, you know, there's this realization that this is the time. And I definitely feel through the month of November, you have a requirement to take action. You know, I said in the Taurus reading, and it feels true to say for, you know, for you as well, Gemini, that this is a balance between rest and receive and action and attraction. And I think you have to kind of call out the moments when, you know, you need to ensure that you're taking those progressive steps forward. We've got 2 new moons happening in November, right? So the new moon in Scorpio kicks off on the 1st, and it asks you to let something go so you can make space for what's about to come in. There's a launch here, there's movement, there's progress, there's travel, there's something being initiated, and messages, communication and news that are bringing about something positive, something that feels like it sparks even your inner child. There's like a realization of kind of what lights you up now, and perhaps you've, you know, not been sure about what that is for a while, or maybe you're very clear and you've been looking for the signs and the validation, and there you go, November is about to bring it in. Okay, but what November also says to you specifically, Gemini, in that 6th house in the beginning part of the month is, how can I come from a place of peace? Because coming from a place of peace means a regulated energy, right? And that needs calmness, because the calmness brings clarity, and that helps you to act without reaction. Now, why am I saying that? Well, we have Tower energy, right? So it may be that circumstances around you feel a bit tumultuous. It may be that something very unexpected transpires. It may be that that ending, you know, and sometimes we choose to create an ending. We kind of, you know, we throw the cat amongst the pigeons and we say, like, it's time, and we kind of feel compelled to be the one that initiates that. But even if that's not the case, even if you're on the receiving end of something, the kind of triggering energy of that tower says that something about this wasn't right. It was no longer serving you. Even if at one time it was the thing that mattered most, now it no longer does. And therefore we have to allow what the process is going to be for the new to come in. And that's not always an easy task. It's not always an easy path and an easy road. So through the course of November, if we're talking about perspective, and we're talking about what's worth your energy, and we're talking about the fact that how can I come from a place of peace, you know, this is where you need to be sitting in your thought forms and figuring out, I have a choice here. We always have a choice, don't we? Now, Saturn stations direct right after that 1111 portal, direct in Pisces. And there's a clearance energy here. There's movement and things start to open up. But, you know, there can be those sort of reverberations and that kind of unsettled energy whenever the planets are moving. And, you know, November has got that flux and it's powerful. you know, the Tower can also bring about a huge epiphany moment. It's like a lightning bolt just hit you, you know, and if you've been struggling or confused or uncertain, all of a sudden that truth, that clarity just shines through, and it's almost like you just get given a download or something gets activated. Wouldn't be surprised if the 1111 portal is the catalyst for that, right? But the ruckus energy that it brings can also sort of stir things up when you're perhaps trying to engage or interact or, you know, find ways in which to communicate and move things in the direction that you know are going to be right. Now, let's also bear in mind that we're going to be working with Mercury's shadow from the 7th. It goes retrograde in Sagittarius from the 25th, right? Mercury, your ruling planet, always affected, as is Virgo, most keenly by this cycle. In Sagittarius energy, it's your 7th house, right? So an awful lot of going back over relationships, particularly, right? And perhaps people coming back and needing to find closure, needing to find opportunities to just draw the line with things, right? Because the other thing that we're going to see happening this month, of course, is Pluto finally coming out of Capricorn. So Saturn direct brings with it the "Are you ready, Gemini?" That's kind of what I just got, like, are you ready? And, you know, sometimes in your realization that it's kind of now or never, there has to be, back to the idea of boundaries, a time when you're going to say no to other things. No, it's not okay, or just no, full stop, without needing to justify or explain or acquiesce, right? Particularly around family, as we, you know, draw in the 10 of coins here. Because you know what's required of you, what's needed from you, to continue to be in alignment with your higher self. Not everyone is going to understand or be on the same page with, okay? Now, I want to say that you're going to figure it out, because what I'm also picking up with some of the energies coming through for this month of November is that there's an awful lot of ideas and things that are kind of percolating and almost demanding that you take action, but it feels like there's also a lot of unknown or loose ends that need to get tied up, or things that feel like they're more problematic or challenging, and you may even have a situation or a scenario that you're also trying to navigate at the same time. So there is this moment of just like maybe even overwhelm, or maybe even it just feels like I don't know where to begin. But actually we've got a lot of grounded energy coming through with that 10 of Pentacles. So what I would also remind you of is, who are the people and where are the places and the spaces that help promote for you that sanctuary, that feeling of rootedness, that sense of belonging? Start there. And the other thing, you know, that's important to say is don't miss the moment while you're searching for a different one, because I think, you know, the avalanche of Sagittarius energy that then starts to permeate through the month can have us looking to the horizon, wanting to be somewhere else, or reaching and stretching for something different, and missing what's right in front of us. And what's right in front of us has inextricable like value right now to you, because it's trying to show you something about yourself, and it's trying to show you something about what happens next. And it's like we don't want to miss that vital opportunity, right? Because it feels like it kind of fills in a blank, so to speak, but you might be trying to look in the wrong direction. So slow it down when you need to, right? You're never going to be this version of you again, Gemini, and you know it's going to want to show you something. The full moon in Taurus arrives on the 15th. And I feel here that we have this really interesting kind of tangible, yeah, I can work with this experience that's going on. Daughter of Coins, look, she's nurturing the garden. She realizes what's of value here, but she knows where the investment's needed. Remember, Taurus wants sustainable. It's focused upon growth, and something's blossoming here. Look, the sun is shining on this area of your life. So whatever is going on around that full moon energy for you, where you feel compelled to be talking about things or prioritizing things, there's something special about that. It feels like it's got a golden ring of energy around it, but it is asking you to keep consistent and to keep focused on what you're trying to do with it. And, you know, coming kind of back to basics as well. Remember, sixth house energy is also just saying, you know, we need to be ensuring that we're just nourishing ourselves so that we have the energy that's needed in order to continue on this quest of whatever it is that we're trying to achieve. You also seem to have sort of help or offers, or there might be conversations that also feel like they're talking about stability, security, what's owed to you, what's yours. You know, we talk about sometimes inheritance, and that's sort of like what comes down ancestrally through the energy of the Ten of Coins. And that might mean, Gemini, not just in this lifetime, but it's kind of something you're dealing with in your karmic soul story of what's right, what's owed to you, what you're working towards, what you're feeling compelled to be drawn into at this moment in time, right? Because the sun is shining on this part of your life and this part of your world for a reason right now. So this full moon brings something through that feels real and tangible and something that you can work with. And there's a satisfaction that comes in and around that time. Now, the 19th, of course, with Pluto shifting out of Capricorn and into Aquarius, once more just feels like a huge chapter of your life is closing. And that's why perhaps even at this time, that Mercury retrograde will bring people back or situations back into your consciousness, but for you to really resolve. I feel like there's a huge resolving energy that's coming through the course of November, and it's going to really help you to kind of free yourself, because as we move towards the end of the month, we have the second new moon in Sagittarius, right? And what that means is that, you know, we have to capitalize on this opportunity with this influx of new energy and use it as a springboard, if you like, right? And that springboard feels, along with Pallas Athena that's shifted into Capricorn and Venus in the sign, that, you know, we're going to have this strategy, this plan, and we're going to know what to do with it. Yeah. And I kind of have that realization, yeah, that if I want to do it differently, if I want things to be different, this is what it's going to take. And, you know, it feels that a lot of what you thought were going to be the things that would hold you back or that you didn't know how to navigate, it's almost like Spirit comes in and is going to start to deal with them one by one by one. You watch how November is quite a transformative time for that to happen. And especially through Sag energy, when your 7th house gets lit up and all of a sudden relationships are under the spotlight for you in a way that's so intriguing, right? And really kind of enables you to have the type of conversations that you've been, it almost feels like long overdue conversations. And that's not just like romantic, it's across the board with lots of different aspects of your life. So a lot gets resolved, a lot gets cleared up, and a lot gets put into motion. That's what I feel coming through for you for this month of November. Now, if you're new to the channel, our last 3 cards we cover in the extended version of the reading. You can find the link in the comment and the description box underneath. I will also look at a personal question and a relationship card for you, so I hope you'll join me if the reading's resonating. Check out my 11/11 energy activation this month. That's going to really help you with your rituals and to harness that energy. And my journal, the 3rd in the sacred trilogy of my titles, is getting shipped this month, so please do take a moment to check it out, and the gifts that are available connected to this and any other offers that come out seasonally, you'll find all of that over on romywiser.com. Right, I'm just clarifying these cards. We've got the 9 of Swords coming through with that ending. We've got the Queen of Wands showing up. Knight of Wands is bringing us the Page of Wands and the energy of justice. Okay, the Sun, Knight of Pentacles, 2 of Wands. Okay, and we have Double Tower. Okay, Double Tower, 6 of Pentacles. Right, we're going to explore that in the extended a little bit more, Gemini. Wow, okay. Chariot comes through, Daughter of Coins, the Lovers, and the Emperor. Okay. Right, let's have a look at Life Soul Vision Oracle. So this is my own deck. Let's see what wants to show up. Throat energy, energetic expressions, Spirit Owl, Sacred Secrets. We've got Mirrors of the Mind. We have Spirit Horse, Third Eye Energy, and we've got the Equinox, Balanced Release. Okay, finally, one more oracle for Gemini for the month of November. Let's take a look. The road is clear. You know what to do. Walk it your way. Beautiful. Thanks so much for being here, Gemini. I hope you'll join me for the extended. I appreciate you. Have a beautiful month ahead.